Hello and welcome to the AI Literacy Podcast. Today we're not just dissecting a report. We're doing a real deep dive into, well, a fascinating paradox right at the heart of education. It's about how artificial intelligence is transforming learning at lightning speed. Yet, well, many who use it don't fully grasp it. We're going to really expose this AI literacy gap, uncover some truly surprising benefits, and then try to map out the essential skills you'll need to navigate this, rapidly evolving world.
That's right. And our guide for this is Microsoft's comprehensive 2025 AI in Education report. And this isn't just, a simple survey. It synthesizes a whole load of studies. It delves into global collaborations with academic institutions, and it actually builds on their 2024 edition. So it gives us a fresh, kind of on-the-ground look at how AI is actually showing up in classrooms and lecture halls today, and crucially, what that might mean for tomorrow.
Yeah, so our mission today is really to distill the most important nuggets of knowledge from this incredibly timely report. We want to explore how AI isn't just some shiny new tool, but a true catalyst for fundamental change. And maybe more importantly, what essential skills you are going to need to thrive in this new era. Okay, let's unpack this. So AI, it's rapidly transforming, well, pretty much every aspect of our lives, isn't it? How we work, how we interact with services. But it feels like it's in education where we're seeing a particularly profound shift. And this isn't just about AI saving a few hours here and there, The report highlights how it's empowering a complete reimagining of educational opportunities. We often hear AI saves time, and okay, it absolutely does, but the really revolutionary insight here, the one that sort of stopped us in our tracks, is how AI is forcing us to fundamentally rethink the entire purpose of education itself. We're talking about a complete philosophical shift, not just, a tech upgrade.
It's true. It really is. You see education leaders increasingly leveraging AI to enhance those operational and administrative processes. It allows them to tap into real-time data, to improve student success in ways that were pretty much unimaginable before. And at the same time, educators are using AI to significantly increase student agency, giving students a much greater sense of ownership over how they learn. Mark Sparvel, who's a director of marketing for education at Microsoft, he puts it beautifully, actually. He sees AI acting as a catalyst for conversation and dialogue right there in the classroom. He emphasizes it's a very human experience, and that really underscores that AI isn't isolating. It's actually fostering deeper interaction.
The human experience, yeah. And that's key, because this isn't just theory, right? This is happening now. The adoption is, well, it's huge. And this isn't just theoretical music. AI adoption in education is genuinely widespread. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. An IDC study, that's the International Data Corporation, the global market intelligence firm, it shows an astounding 86% of education organizations now use generative AI. Think tools like ChatGPT, the ones that can create content, summarize, brainstorm. That 86%, that's the highest rate for any industry, which really just underscores how quickly this tech is soaked into the education landscape.
Absolutely. And it's not just the organizations adopting it either. The report shows a really significant surge in individual usage, especially here in the US. So the percentage of US students and educators who say they use AI often for school stuff, it jumped by 26 and 21 points, respectively, just year over year. And maybe even more telling, the portion of US students who say they've never used AI, that dropped by a hefty 20 points from last year. It's clear AI isn't some niche tool anymore. It's becoming common, almost expected, really, part of the educational toolkit for many.
Right, so despite this incredibly high usage, there's this fascinating paradox the report points out. Less than half of educators and students actually said they knew a lot about AI. That disconnect you mentioned earlier, it's truly stark. What do you think is driving that gap? Is it maybe a lack of proper training, or perhaps this perception that AI is just a magic box they don't need to understand?
That's an excellent question, and it's a really critical one, this gap, where adoption is just outpacing understanding. It really sets the stage for how AI is being used and some of the unexpected benefits that are starting to emerge. For students, the primary drivers often seem practical: saving time, improving the quality of their work, maybe assisting with learning difficult concepts. The report cites this study from Australia, where university students using an AI chatbot saw nearly a 10% improvement on exam grades, compared to peers not using it. And the impact was clear, right? 72% of these students said they'd be very disappointed if they couldn't use it again. That shows a high perceived value. We also see this in practice, like at Fulton County Schools, where a junior named Praga Montville mentioned students used Copilot Chat, that's Microsoft's AI assistant. They used it as a brainstorming partner to ideate, but not to actually do our work for us. And apparently, this significantly boosted their confidence and creativity. So it's about idea generation, not just, getting easy answers.
Okay, so Students are finding these AI brainstorming partners.
Mhm.
You're seeing better grades, more confidence. That's interesting. But what about the teachers? The educators in the classroom, are they still like drowning in paperwork, or is AI throwing them a bit of a lifeline too? I can only imagine the sigh of relief from teachers getting AI help crafting lesson plans. Remember those late nights? Stacks of textbooks, highlighters.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge relief for many of them, I think. Educators are definitely leveraging AI for those time-consuming tasks that often just bog them down. Think about creating class materials, maybe designing curriculum, or even just handling common student questions over and over. The report gives a great example. The Education Authority of Northern Ireland. They integrated Microsoft 365 Copilot specifically to reduce teacher workload, so it helps them quickly prep lesson materials, develop resources that cater to different learning styles, freeing up valuable time for actually interacting with students, less time on the admin burden.
And it goes beyond just the individual classroom, doesn't it? AI seems to be playing a big role for the leaders, the administrators too, helping with those admin tasks and making things run more efficiently across whole institutions.
Indeed, it does. For instance, there's a primary school in Czechia using AI-powered translation tools. It helps bridge language barriers, making communication much smoother for students and parents from really diverse backgrounds, places like Afghanistan, Ukraine, Mongolia. Imagine the challenges those schools face.
Yeah.
A tool like that can truly foster a sense of belonging, you know? And here in the U.S., Brevard Public Schools in Florida created an AI chatbot for their IT help desk. It efficiently answers queries from students, parents, staff across the whole district. These are real-world applications improving daily operations and support.
What's really compelling here, I think, is AI's impact on accessibility and inclusion. The report notes that 33% of leaders are using AI specifically for accessibility tools. And there was a recent study with neurodivergent participants that found Copilot helped 80% with written communication and, get this, 90% with tasks like understanding meeting contributions, creating follow-ups. That significantly boosted their feelings of inclusion and, importantly, improved the quality of their work. AI seems to be making education more equitable, more accessible for everyone. That's an incredible development.
It really is. And digging even deeper into the learning benefits, there was a study by Microsoft Research and Cambridge University Press and Assessment. They found students actually preferred an AI reading assistant over just traditional note-taking. They mentioned its ability to answer questions on the spot, simplify complex material, provide immediate feedback. And most impressively, students were asking sophisticated questions of these AI chatbots. It showed a genuine drive for deeper understanding, not just, surface-level info. The research also found that explanations generated by large language models, LLMs, the tech behind tools like ChatGPT, rather than just giving blunt answers, significantly improved comprehension. And it reduced how difficult students perceive the problems to be. That's a powerful insight into how AI can genuinely help facilitate deeper learning.
That is a powerful finding. AI for deeper learning, not just quick answers, but, and this feels like a big but, the report also adds a really crucial note of caution. Using AI alone produced worse results than using it alongside traditional methods. What does that really tell us about the ideal human-AI partnership? Is that maybe the biggest misconception we need to tackle? That AI can just replace everything?
That's absolutely a misconception we need to address, yes. That finding tells us pretty clearly that AI is a powerful complement, it's an amplifier, but it's not a standalone solution, definitely not a replacement for human interaction and traditional learning methods. It really reinforces this idea of AI as a thought partner, a concept we should probably explore a bit more. And importantly, while students maybe at higher-ranking universities, those more familiar with AI, experienced greater benefits, a really promising discovery from the study was that socioeconomic status had no significant effect on the outcomes. That's huge. It suggests AI-assisted education doesn't necessarily worsen existing social inequalities, and that's a major positive, right, for equitable access to advanced learning.
Yeah, that equity piece is a fantastic takeaway, definitely. But okay, despite this rapid adoption and these clear benefits we've talked about, it's not all smooth sailing, is it? The report acknowledges significant concerns about AI in education still linger.
Oh, they certainly do. You've got educators most concerned about things like plagiarism, obviously, and maybe an over-reliance on the technology. They worry students might lose essential critical thinking skills. Students, on the other hand, often fear being accused of plagiarism even if they used AI appropriately, and also becoming overly dependent. And then for the education leaders, their worries tend to center more around privacy, security, the potential for misinformation spreading, and just a lack of adequate IT resources or infrastructure to implement these tools effectively and safely across their institutions. These are all really valid concerns that need proactive solutions. We can't just sweep them under the rug.
And this brings us back to that crucial point about training, doesn't it? How do we bridge that knowledge gap we discussed earlier? The report reveals something quite staggering. 45% of educators globally and 52%, over half of U.S. students, said they had not received any AI training. This is despite leaders often believing that training is being provided. It highlights a really clear gap between perception and reality when it comes to support. So what kind of training actually works here? Pat Young-Pradit from Code.org emphasizes this need for high-quality, relevant, and job-embedded professional development. What does job-embedded really mean in this context? How does that look different?
Well, job embedded essentially means the training isn't just a one-off workshop you attend, it's ongoing. It's relevant to the actual daily tasks educators and students are doing. It's integrated into their professional lives or their learning journey. It's about learning by doing, seeing the immediate application. The report recommends embracing experimentation with AI, definitely, but crucially, using it to complement traditional methods, not replace them. It's about smart integration and enhancement. Jake Hoffman, he's a senior principal researcher at Microsoft Research, offers a great way to think about it. He envisions AI as a thought partner, a partner for students to critique, refine, maybe polish their work. This moves beyond just simple answer, getting to a much more dynamic, collaborative process of learning and creation.
Right, a thought partner. I like that. Okay, looking ahead then to the future, AI fluency is rapidly becoming one of the job market's most in-demand skills. LinkedIn data highlighted in the report shows the percentage of jobs listing an AI literacy skill increased more than 6 times in the past year alone. 6 times. And get this, the report drops a bit of a bombshell here. A staggering 66% of leaders say they wouldn't even consider hiring someone without AI literacy skills. When we see data like that, are we talking about a new, non-negotiable skill for pretty much every single job, or is this still mainly for tech roles? What does this really mean for your future listing right now?
That's a fantastic question. And the data really suggests it's becoming non-negotiable pretty much across the board, not just limited to specialized tech roles. Jared Spataro, he's the chief marketing officer for AI at work at Microsoft. He offers this compelling vision for the new skills needed. He suggests students will need to learn to be the boss of agents, basically, learning how to direct AI tools and systems effectively, almost like a team manager. So the key AI skills, as the report outlines them, include knowing how to use AI as a colleague, as a team member, learning when and how to delegate tasks to AI versus keeping them for humans, and fundamentally thinking like a manager, because it seems everyone will be managing AI in some capacity in their work.
Wow, the boss of agents. That paints a picture. And it's actually exciting to see that some institutions are already taking proactive steps towards this. The University of Waterloo, for example, uses an AI tool to help students find jobs. They have a program preparing them for AI-driven careers with hands-on training. Auburn University offers a Teaching with AI course for their faculty and formal training programs for students and staff too. And even school districts like in Metro Atlanta are providing AI literacy training to educators, covering everything from, prompting techniques to personalizing learning. These kinds of initiatives feel crucial for preparing the next generation for these AI-driven careers and the future of work.
Absolutely. The overarching message from this report is pretty clear. AI is evolving into, a force multiplier. It's enabling institutions to completely reimagine education experiences, helping them solve long-standing challenges, engage students who might have been hard to reach before, and really encourage a spirit of experimentation and collaboration. Mark Sparvel from Microsoft, again, he sort of encapsulates this. He says that when kids are curious, motivation isn't really an issue, and leveraging AI should be about sparking that curiosity. It's not just a pathway to getting a job, important as that is, it's also a pathway to being able to fully participate in civic society, to fully participate in the social fabric of the future world. It's about fostering those very human qualities, curiosity, critical thinking, adaptability, that will likely differentiate those who succeed from those who might get left behind.
This deep dive has really shown us how AI isn't just changing how we learn, but it's fundamentally reshaping the skills we'll all need for tomorrow. It's an exciting, maybe slightly daunting, but definitely rapidly evolving landscape. Understanding it is absolutely key for your future.
Absolutely. We really encourage you to think about how AI could become that thought partner in your own learning journey, or even in your work. And maybe think about what new skills you might explore to really thrive in this emerging AI-driven world. Consider how you might become a boss of agents in your own sphere, whatever that might be.
Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe to AI Literacy Podcasts for such interesting podcasts.